Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of my Safe Zone, episode number 6. Thanks for clicking the video. Be sure to comment and subscribe for more content from me. Let's get straight into this video.
Flashback.
Lynn Dad comes home with snacks for her and goes upstairs to get his things and leave. Trying to coerce him into staying, to no avail. Again, the man you married to don't love you and willingly wants to leave. Let him. Still tries to plead with him outside and fails. He leaves.
End of flashback.
Lynn tells Jane to go home. She does. Lynn says, I only have one parent. That's my mom. You left me when I was a kid. I barely recognize you. I'm not gonna hold you. I would be so caught off guard. Why is he in the house? Ain't never moved on. That's tragic. Dad talk about, I want to talk about W Magazine. Lynn like, you ain't gotta worry about me. I've been fine most of my life. I'd never do anything to get me or her in trouble. So go and don't ever come back. Like, now, okay, Lynn, I like how you're no nonsense. She's very straight to the point because her mom is on mute because I think she's still in love with her dad. Like, I don't know how many years it's been. Hang it up. He leaves. Lynn asks, why did you let him back in? And wants to not let him back again. Lynn is looking at magazines and tearing up. Apparently, Lek is her dad, who's also a photographer. Didn't want Lynn to work in the same field as Lek because she ain't want them to run into each other. However, Lynn was hoping to see him. This is sad. They really was holding on to hope that Lek would appear again. I guess they needed the closure or whatever so they can move forward. Back to the show. Lynn wanted to show that raised her well without Lek. Says she's proud but will always worry because before she dies, she wants to see Lynn have a good career and someone who truly loves her. I'm like, oh, okay, is finna die? Because she always talk about, I just want to see XYZ before I die. Like, is she dying soon or what? Because I wonder why she keep talking like this, but I'll never know. She's a mystery to me. Anyway, Lynn is confiding in Jane about her family situation, saying he heard about the W Magazine deal. He showed up, but I don't even know what he wants. Jane like, that must be a lot to process. Lynn agrees and plans to tell her mom about her job situation. Then she gets a call. Someone wants her to do a photo shoot. Jane is thrilled. She got a photo shoot coming up and wants her to know she doesn't have to just rely on Pies Magazine. Other people want to work with Lynn. Lynn says, they asked me to shoot an interview. I asked who the model was, but they didn't tell me. Jane assures her whoever the person is will turn out to be great. Then invites Lynn out for dinner tonight to celebrate.
Much later.
They at Jean's restaurant. To be honest, I wouldn't feel safe after what happened last time. Plus, I thought they'd go out to another location, but it's okay. Maybe they're trying to save money. Anyway, Lynn is blown away by the food. Jane talk about the food here is delicious. Lynn tells her, especially the owner, these are 4 dishes I plan to sell next month. Lynn says, I haven't finished photographing them y'all yet. I'm being so serious. I don't recall her taking pictures of Jane's dishes or coming up with any dish for Jane's menu. When did Lynn do this? I remember her taking pictures of Jane cooking, but other than that, nothing. Braised eggs are on the lineup again. Jane made them because it was the only thing that Lynn ate when she got dropped off at Took's house, and she prepared a bunch of other dishes. And I'm like, I like how Jane chose to show she cared about Lynn, but also having the food be the vehicle for her to show the significant moments or special moments she cherished with Lynn. A plus for me. They finished dinner. Now on to dessert. Jane puts a blindfold on Lynn and ushers her into a decorated room, then prepares some ice cream. Jane returns. Lynn like, what is the dessert? The blindfold is off. Lynn is pulled back into the day her dad left. She was crying. Jane comes and hands her ice cream. Lynn questions the reason why Jane gave her coconut milk ice cream that day, because it's not the typical flavor most kids seek. Jane like took moved the chocolate ice cream to the top of the shelf. I couldn't get it, so I grabbed the coconut milk ice cream. I thought ice cream would make you feel better. Jane been a caring romantic since childhood. That's dope. Back to the show. Lynn thanks Jane. Jane says, nah, I'm the one that gotta thank you for coming back to me. Lynn recognized that all of the dishes she had made was about her. Jane tells Lynn, you were my inspiration from the beginning. I wanted to cook for the people I love. I wanted to open a restaurant with food so good that it makes you want to stop by one day. So I'd see you again. Jane feeds Lynn. Of course, some of the ice cream gets on her mouth, and she has to kiss it off. Lynn does the same thing. They make out and do all of the things. I'm like, so they ain't gonna finish the ice cream? I mean, it's coconut milk ice cream. That ain't my thing, nor or bananas, but they could have saved the rest for Took or something. She probably would have ate it. Anyway, Tim is at Jane's house. He talked to the police about the accident. Then he gives Jane a USB and tells her to take a look. Jane got an interview, but will check out the USB afterwards. Tim is confused by that. She says, don't ask questions, go home. I'm confused too. She already got a job. Or is they talking about like a Gail King type interview? If so, Jane don't do those. She turns them down. Anyway, Tim want to know if Jane got enemies. Now, am I bugging? What happened to the rest of the gate? Is it gone? It was there, now it's not. What the fuck? Let me stop drinking my drink. Hold on. Back to them. Jane talk about if I do, it's you. Jane answers honestly this time with a no. Tim like, how about Lynn? Jane ain't answer. He leaves. Bruh, the rest of the gate just resurfaced. What is this sorcery? I don't understand. Over to Lynn. She gearing up for the interview. The staff saying the model wouldn't accept the job unless you did it. Lynn is taken aback. The staff like, yep, she always turned down every request before. Is the model Kate? That would be messy. Or Jane. I don't know. But they keep saying the model don't do interviews. The model is arriving to set now. It's Jane. Lynn looks pissed again. Lynn says, why are you doing this? Jane wants to discuss the situation at home. I was semi right. It was Jane, and I thought Kate, because, she messy like that. Anywho, Lynn like, you thought I was that desperate. You're making me look like an extra. I want people to hire me for my skills, not because of you. I understand what Lynn is talking about. Things in certain fields aren't treated the same as others. Most creative things like photography or even me making this video won't be looked at as work. Most people think photography is just pointing and shooting without thinking about all the other pieces that needs to be in place first. I understand what you're talking about. Anywho, back to the Jane apologizes for making Lynn feel bad about herself. She wanted Lynn to believe in herself because she don't need pie. There are plenty of people who want to hire her. Lynn finds that hard to believe because they only hired her because Jane requested her. Jane says, you know why I never gave interviews? Lynn like, because you're too proud. I'm like, wow. Tell us how you really feel, Lynn. Is it because her restaurant has limited availability? She's too proud? Or what? You never say that every time you come to her with your problems. That's wild of you, Lynn. It's crazy of you. Back to the show. Wow. Jane explains she's nervous, insecure, and unsure how to act. Her place is in the kitchen. Posing and taking pictures just ain't her. Lynn says, you did great today, so what you talking about? Jane like, cause you were behind the camera. I had something to focus on. I could relax and find myself smiling at the camera because I was smiling at you. Lynn apologizes for the way she came at Jane. She continues, I should be happy that you value me so much. Jane is cool with it, bruh. Jane is so understanding. I'm not even in my mid 20s like they supposed to be around. And I recognize she got the patience of Job because I would have just needed a day or two to sit and digest all of what Lynn has said in that moment because how dare you? They go inside the house. Took is unaware that Lynn is also there and begins to talk to Jane, saying Leck dropped by and said to Lynn lost her job. Lynn confirms this to be true. Lynn asks if her mom believed Leck. Took tells her no. Lynn didn't have the courage to tell her mom. Took says, well, it's better that she heard it from you than someone else. Lynn gets a call from her mom saying she's making hot pot for dinner and wants Jane and Took to come. Now I'm hungry and I need to find something for dinner. I don't know. I have to go make something. Anyway, they arrive for dinner and Lynn is stunned. Jane wanna know what's wrong. Lynn leaves, but her mom like Kate came by and wants to have dinner with us. Bruh, disregards Lynn's feelings whenever she pleases. You know how Lynn feels about Kate. Why the fuck is she at your home? This feels like an ambush. Even if you still cordial with Kate and whatever, you could have texted Lynn and said, yo, Kate is here. We'll have dinner after she leaves or something. Back to them. Jane asking if Lynn is okay. Lynn ain't. She says, I'm her daughter. Why she ain't on my side? She knows what Kate did to me. Jane like, Kate came. That's her business, not ours. I'm like, even Lynn think her mom don't give a damn about her. I don't know why some people make their kids feel like that. Anyway, Kate steps to Lynn, wanting to talk alone. Lynn is stuck, not saying a thing. It reminds me of Oakbath from Love Design. Every time mine was around, she was just frozen in place. That's crazy. Shame how people traumatize you like that. Anywho, like what Lynn say. Kate don't think Lynn will ever forgive her. Over to Lynn, she don't want to talk or see Kate. Jane asks a good question. Do you still love her? Lynn doesn't. I'm like, I think Jane needed to ask that question because again, I don't know how much time passed from when Lynn caught Kate and her returning to Thailand, nor do I know how long she was with Kate. But from the audience perspective, it seems that Lynn came to Thailand and immediately got with Jane, not taking time to heal and be alone or nothing. So it's a valid question to ask, and I thank Jane for asking it. Omens that took place telling her to get Lynn. Took doesn't. Talking about Lynn is my kid. Why can't I go see her? Took wants Lynn and Jane to work it out. Took prevents from going upstairs because it's her house. Took goes up and lets Lynn know left, but still wants to talk to her.
Much, much, much later.
Jane is with her mom. Jane like Lynn was upset ain't take her side. Took wonders how Jane is doing. Then tells her, don't get your hopes up too much. Now Took been an A+ character in this episode, but I ain't forget you still ain't tell Jane you was the one that told Lynn to quit contacting her.
The next morning.
Lynn is off to talk with her mom. Jane says, are you certain and do you want me to come with you? Lynn will handle it by herself. Lynn is asked to sit and eat. She does. And this looks so uncomfortable. The tension is suffocating. I wouldn't be sitting or eating. Back to them. Lynn comes clean and admits she's been fired. They hug, and her mom like, "Why you didn't tell me sooner?" And I'm like, no offense, but look how you acted when Lynn told you about her breakup with Kate. I wouldn't have told you a damn thing either, cause you be bugging like it be your life that's also affected. But okay. Lynn was just afraid of disappointing talking about, "I've never been disappointed in you. You're what I'm proud of most in my life." Over to Jane. She's at Pie's workplace. Pie like, "If it's urgent, you could have just called." Jane just wanted to see how a esteemed individual could stoop so low as to commit a crime. Pie talk about, "That's defamation if you ain't got evidence." We see Jane looking at the USB footage and notice it's the same man that tried to run her over who also threw a rock at her. Pie says, "What that got to do with me? I fired him on the spot after he clipped you." Jane like, "All right, what about Leck then? What is your excuse for that?" Turns out Pie hired Leck to come back and expose Lynn and her family. Jane tells Pie to stay away from Lynn and drop the whole work and investment act, or she'll go tell the cops who's behind all this. I'm like, damn, Pie is in a world of legal trouble. If people testify, she orchestrated all this. But again, I don't know how she hiring people. She's in the red. How is she gonna pay these people? Jane is with Lynn. Lynn don't want Jane to confront Pie by herself again because she could have been in danger. Jane knows but couldn't help it. Lynn is bummed that Leck only came back to exploit her and her mom. Jane like, screw both them, Pie and Leck. Lynn comes to the realization she'll be out of work for a while. Jane gives her some grace saying Lynn is too talented to stay unemployed. Just consider it a break and spend it with me. I'm like, that's real thoughtful of Jane. She's a good support system. Jane tells Lynn to hurry up and call Kate to get it over with. Lynn want to know if Jane's alright with that. Jane like, of course, why wouldn't I be? I know you're only mine. They kiss. Lynn thanks her. Kate's at the bar, waiting on Lynn. Lynn finally shows up. She wants Kate to make it quick so she can leave. Kate just starts touching her. Alright. Then apologizes. Lynn is so unimpressed. Kate talk about, "I haven't had the chance to say it since that day." Lynn like, "You don't got to. I'm cool with never seeing you again. Not gonna hold you. This is how I operate with friendships or any other relationships. When the words 'I'm done' or 'it's over' or uttered, that is a complete sentence. I'm not finna keep trying to keep making something that's ended work again. That's foolish of me." Anyway, Kate reveals Tan played her. She continues, "The men in your office were betting on whether they could break us up." I'm like, okay, but if you turn down the advance, you wouldn't know about that and wouldn't have got played. What exactly did Tan say for him and you to fuck anyway? I really want to know. That's a good question to ask. Kate apologizes again and tells Lynn if she could turn back time, she wouldn't have done it. Lynn is not moved by whatever she's saying. Kate pleading, "I'll do anything. Can we just get back together? I promise it won't happen again." Lynn ain't said nothing. Kate hugs her, not Tim in the back watching this all play out. That wraps up episode 6 of My Safe Zone. A lot of backstabbing in this episode. Okay, Pie gotta be stopped because she doing all this, but Lynn don't want her. And if Jane had died, she'd be locked up. So how would she be with Lynn anyway? Leck is trash because he only came back into their lives once money was involved. Jane shouldn't have left Lynn in the dark when it came to that interview because you knew how she felt about being viewed as incapable, even though Lynn would have done the job well. Was as expected, but I don't know why she keep allowing people that have hurt both her and Lynn back into their lives, I guess for closure, but it always seems like she wants to have them around even though it's not good for her or Lynn in the long run. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and share if you want more content like this. Be safe. Later, y'all.